One soldier is fully armed, but they are in a melancholy, depressed mood. And you have another soldier, but he is in a happy mode. Who do you think is going to succeed in the battlefield? Parents look at the children. All they want to see is happiness. Us human beings, by nature, we yearn for happiness. So what does our happiness depend on? In other words, how can we attain the happiness that we want? The answer is, happiness depends on your thoughts. The way you think, your thought process, is going to determine your level of happiness. If your thought process is positive, optimistic, encouraging, that will encourage your level of happiness. Our happiness is totally dependent on our thoughts, on our way that we think, and the way we process information. It is a journey. In the great book of Tanya, in mysticism, it talks about the 3 levels that we all journey through. One is thought, one is speech, and one is action. It's a journey that each one of us as human beings go through in our day-to-day dealings, in our day-to-day life. When a thought begins, and then it travels to our mouth, and then it translates into action. It all begins with the thought process. And therefore, it is most important that the thought process is always imbued with positivity, with optimism, always seeing the better part of the opportunity of what you are faced. As we were born, God created us with 2 souls, with 2 voices, 2 inspirations. One is referred to as the godly soul, and the one is referred to as the ungodly soul. They are both fighting for your attention. They are both going to be at war with you all the time, trying to persuade you to go their way. The godly voice within you will always be giving you voice of positivity, voice of optimism, versus the ungodly voices will take you down a very dark place, would try to bring you into depression, into despair, into pessimism, into darkness. This war is continuous. It's just the way God created us, and God gave us the ability to be able to choose one voice over the other voice. And in practice, the more we lean towards the godly voice, the quieter the ungodly voice becomes. And in practice, the more light you have in your mind, the darkness will dispel. In Judaism, we have been taught it is a commandment that we must serve God with joy. We always need to be at a level of happiness. A level of happiness is what's going to help us through the day, and it's going to help us reach our goals. So each one of us needs to find in our thoughts to not allow our negativism, our ungodly voice to bring us down, to always see the glass half empty, to always see what's missing. There was once a phenomenon when a person walked into a museum, beautiful museum, but yet a tile in the ceiling was missing. Everyone who walked into the museum, although it had the most beautiful items on display, most inspiring items, but their eyes always was drawn to the ceiling tile that was missing. And you wonder, why is it that the human nature, we seem to always want to focus on what's missing instead of realizing what's there right in front of us? How important it is for us to realize, do not focus on what's missing, but focus what's right there in front of our eyes. And this is how we get to happiness. It all begins with our thought process. It all begins with having faith in God and trust in God. That knowing that everything that happens for a purpose and a reason. That there is nothing that's just happenstance. There are no coincidences. Everything happens with divine providence. God has foreseen everything and is involved in everything that happens in our life. And when you realize that, then you realize the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all part of the plan. And thereby, having that in mind, one always needs to be at a state of happiness. We find in the Torah where God refers to the choices we make in life. And God gives us both blessings and the opposite of blessings. And when it refers to the opposite of blessings, and the Torah enumerates a bunch of negative verses, which is referred to as rebuke. But right in the middle of it, it says, you know why this is all possible? Because you do not serve God with joy. And that is what we need to do. We need to be able to serve God with happiness. When you come home and you have a smile on your face and you're in a happy mood, no matter what occurred at work during the day, no matter what occurred outside in the field, when you come home and you have a smile and you found a reason to be happy, it becomes infectious. People around you say, hey, what's with this happiness? And you say, oh, I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to be with people I love. I'm happy to be able to just be here. That is the state of mind that we need to be to. And that all begins with a thought. So the question is, what does our happiness depend on? It depends on our thoughts. So begin thinking in the most positive way possible. And whenever you have an intruding thought that's going to try to drag you down, or is going to try to introduce you how wrong things are or how bad things can go, it is at that moment that you need to switch channels as if you're holding a remote control. Dismiss the intruding thought. Don't challenge it. Dismiss it. And begin looking for the positive possibilities. By thinking, you make it happen. One of my great rabbis said, think good and it will be good. One of my older brothers would tell me, not only think good, it will be good. By thinking good, you'll make it good. So indeed, the power of thought should never be underestimated. The power of thought should be most valued. That the thoughts in our mind is so powerful and so impactful that it can impact the whole outcome of your day, of your family, and of your own being. And remember, you are the guardian of your thoughts. No one else is. You are the one who has the ability to decide what kind of thoughts are you going to allow in your mind. Just like you decide who enters your house, you decide who enters your mind. What kind of thoughts will you allow in your mind? What kind of thoughts would you allow to reside within your mind? And those thoughts need to be thoughts of positivity, thoughts of optimism, thoughts of hope, thoughts of faith, thoughts of healing, and thoughts of positivity. Think good, it will be good. think good, you will make it good. And that will bring you a happiness that compares to none. In the great book of Tanya, mysticism talks about you have two soldiers going to war. One soldier is fully armed to the tilt, has all the armory that he needs. But they are in a melancholy, depressed mood. And you have another soldier who has no arms, but is also going to war. But he is in a happy mode. He is joyous. He has happiness with him. Who do you think is going to succeed in the battlefield? The answer is very clearly the soldier who has the right attitude, the right disposition, the right thoughts, and the happiness of mind, and the gladness of the heart will succeed in the battlefield. For us, our day-to-day is seemingly a battlefield. Every day we wake up, we say, thank you, God, for another day, but give me what I need to make it through to this day. And when we decide that today is going to be a happy day, you will find that happiness will follow you. Because you would realize how powerful and impactful your happiness is, not just in you, but on all the surroundings, all the people around you. People love happiness. People love happy people. People love to be around happiness. So be happy, be proud, be positive, be optimistic, and always have positive thoughts, because the power, the energy in your thoughts is going to have a tremendous effect on you and your surroundings. May God bless you with joy and happiness and gladness all the time.